This news update is brought to you by...
This is how we flow. Oh, the offers are quite exciting, and the prices will leave you smiling. Everybody's got a cheerful glow.
Enjoy 1 month of free Flow TV when you sign up or upgrade to Flow Broadband this season.
This is the Barbados Today afternoon news update for Friday, December 18th. Thank you for joining us. I am Mary-Claire Williams. Labour Minister Dr. Esther Byer is reporting changes to the Canadian Farm Labour Program. Dr. Byer says amendments to Canada's Employment Protection of Foreign Nationals Act will see changes to the payment of contributions for the workers.
Other governments and other persons have been making deductions from workers' money that is not necessarily used for the workers' benefit. And this is not in keeping with the best labour standards. This is not in keeping with the ILO standards, and now it is not in keeping with Canadian law, because the Canadian officials ensure that their law is now in keeping with the ILO and other labour standards. So it is now illegal for employers to take out any money from your salary unless there's certain conditions that are met, and those will be discussed with you. So an employer now will not just be able to take the 25% off your money and send it home for you.
Dr. Byer noted the importance of the program to Barbados, and she says government has been meeting with Canada and other countries to ensure that the program and the workers are not affected.
Farm Labour Program has been an important program for you, for your families, and for the government of Barbados as well. And it has been a successful program. And we made that point to the government of Canada. We are not going to sit back and watch them shut down this program. But we will fight, we will continue to meet with them to discuss, to ensure that this program is viable. Yes, we want that you are protected. And I looked at that law, and that law it makes sense. There are things in that law that are there to protect you as foreign workers when you're in Canada. The law, I understand the principle of the law. And I'm not encouraging anybody to break it, but we are also in negotiations to ensure that your best interests are served as well.
Residents of White Hill, St. Andrew will soon be getting a new temporary road. Minister of Transport and Works, Michael Lashley, visited the area this morning where work was ongoing on the road which was damaged by heavy rains last year.
Of course, the cost of this temporary access road, $200,000. We've actually contracted the company to do some test holes to see how we can look at in the future in terms of building something permanent. But in the meantime, we would pay special attention to the maintenance of this road. I think that once we go into this temporary access, we will ensure that we have MPW personnel down here very frequently looking at this road, looking to see where the problem is, and to have a maintenance team in place to make sure that we don't encounter the problems we had before.
However, MP for the area, George Payne, believes something should have been done much earlier.
I'm terribly disappointed that it should have taken a whole year. The minister came down here over a year ago, and instead of addressing the problem, doing then what they're trying to do now, he had indicated that the road should be abandoned. And it is sad to see that it's taken a tree that has fallen in the middle of the road to sort of wake up government to do something about the suffering of the people in this area.
But Lashley says government has been working to address the concerns of the residents. There is more criticism of government's decision to impose a 22% value-added tax on cell phone use from January 1st. The Senate approved the measure on Wednesday, but President of the Barbados Consumer Research Organization, Malcolm Gibbs State, argues that Barbadians are already financially overburdened, and he wants government to withdraw the levy. Communications analyst Hallam Hope is also criticizing the tax, saying government is going against the trend set by progressive countries that sought to implement net neutrality rules requiring telecoms companies to maintain services such as Skype and WhatsApp free of charge. In sports, the former CONCACAF president Jeffrey Webb is said to be sentenced next June after pleading guilty to corruption charges in the United States. Webb recently pleaded guilty to racketeering conspiracy, 3 counts of wire fraud conspiracy, and 3 counts of money laundering conspiracy. According to the U.S. Department of Justice, Webb agreed to forfeit $6.7 million as part of his plea. The Caymanian was one of several football officials arrested in a pre-dawn raid by Swiss police in May. He was extradited to the U.S. to face charges where he initially pleaded guilty and was placed on $10 million bond. Webb is currently under house arrest at his home in Atlanta.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
It was days before Christmas. I had so much to do. Shopping, more shopping, and I was feeling blue. There's a mother, father, a wifey, and friend. Lots of things to buy, but there was no money to spend. I found the answer. The BT shopping spree. 15,000 in goodies. Free, free, free. It's easy to enter. Nothing hard to do. Follow my instructions and a winner can be you. Visit facebook.com/Barbados today. Do it quickly and fill out your form to enter this spree. Look, I'm shopping at the Cost-U-Less mega store. Come down, fill your trolleys with goodies and more. And like me, you too can say, ho, ho, ho.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter. That's the move for me. Stability, prosperity. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union.
In news from the region, Haiti's Prime Minister Evans Paul is calling for an electoral commission to make recommendations to government and the Electoral Council ahead of this month's presidential runoff. The suggestion comes as Haiti remains in the midst of an electoral crisis, with many doubting whether the runoff will take place on December 27 as scheduled. Paul says the commission would be charged with guaranteeing the credibility of the process. In a statement issued yesterday, he noted the commission would have 72 hours to report back with recommendations to the government and the country's 9-member Provisional Electoral Council. He says government believes the commission is necessary to help consolidate social and political stability and organize elections that are credible, transparent, participatory, and inclusive. Internationally, the Vatican announced today that the late Mother Teresa of Calcutta is to be made a saint of the Roman Catholic Church. Mother Teresa, who died in 1997, dedicated her life to helping the poor. Pope Francis has approved a decree recognizing a miracle, which was the healing of a man suffering from multiple brain tumors. Mother Teresa was beatified in 2003. That's the first step towards sainthood. She's expected to be canonized in early September in Rome. And finally, UK Prime Minister David Cameron says there is now a pathway to help Britain secure a deal to renegotiate its relationship with the European Union. Cameron was speaking at the end of a 2-day summit in Brussels. He said it will still be tough to reach an agreement at the next meeting in February. We have more in this BBC report.
The Prime Minister back for another round with European leaders. His proposed changes to the EU aren't on today's agenda, but they are fresh in people's minds. In the early hours of this morning, David Cameron appeared before the waiting media and said after 4 hours of intense talks, he'd made progress in securing the reforms he wants.
So I would say today what has happened is we've taken a big step forward for a better deal for Britain. But there's still a lot of hard work to be done, and it's going to have to be done between now and February the 18th. But there is a path through this to a better deal for Britain. And I think that is good progress tonight. But as I say, a lot of hard work ahead of us.
The Prime Minister wants change in 4 areas. He wants to protect the power of national parliaments, to make the EU more competitive, to protect countries that don't use the euro from decisions made by those that do. The most controversial is his plan to ban in-work benefits for EU migrants for 4 years. Despite fierce opposition, this is still on the table. Leaders said all 4 demands were tricky, but they'd set out some red lines and some areas for compromise.
That's the news. There's more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're on Izumi Media in bus terminals and Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also tune into Channel 101 on Flow TV or Mix 96.9 FM for more news and sports. I am Maricla Williams. Good afternoon.